Welcome to the stone world. Do make yourself useful now. We've got a lot to do and... Looks like you understand some things. Better than these rock-brained gorillas. But you'll have to excuse me. I don't rightfully have time for average intellect fellows, so do be on your way. There's a town over that way. Go, go. Oh. You have a proposed solution to something. Better than I expected. So you think you can match me? Interesting. What's your solution? So you're suggesting by using the sulfurite bicarbonate, we can... Interesting. You're either a genius or a fool. I guess we'll have to find out through good old science. Oh, so you realize the true intention of it. Interesting. Fascinating. You might prove useful yet. Well, since you're already out here, why don't we put you to the test? We'll see how good you've got it. And if you don't, well, no hard feelings. Looks like your solution. It worked quite nicely. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. You're interesting. Now, there's one conundrum I've been looking to fix. Maybe you have a solution. You seem well versed in the arts of science, so how would you solve this? You see, we're working to create laser technology, and I need a way to focus everything. It's going to be an interesting light show, and if we mess it up, well, everyone dies. No pressure. Not evil, just scientific. I'd do it myself, but it's risky. Oh, no hesitation. I think we're going to get along handedly. Though you do well not to risk yourself so much. Especially for a complete stranger who just happened to save you in passing. Unless you take it as something else, in which case, well, you could just listen to the dopamine. Oh, never mind, I'm talking to myself now. And again, with how you were solved, interesting. You're a crafty one. Smarter than me? Well, I guess it's possible. You seem awfully eager to prove yourself. Could it be that you're intimidated by this? Proof of my scientific expertise. Want to see? Oh, you can't. Not yet. You haven't earned my trust. Yes, that's a plausible situation. Someone's got some creativity in their head, whether or not their scientific expertise is good enough. Look at the light as it dances. We're still alive, which is fascinating to me. Good that you are willing to take risks, but I'd prefer not to die, especially when there's so much science that needs to get done, unless you plan on taking over. You could do well with me. After all, I might just be smarter than you. Oh, really? Then solve this equation here. Oh. Fascinating. You may really have what it takes to be as smart as me. Using the cubane? And why would I do that? There's the dodecahedron. That would stop things from having the reaction. We'd end up in an unstable state, and Interesting. Yes, if you use that to stabilize. I don't know if you're a mad scientist. Or just a maniac. But you might just have what it takes. Yes. Come along now. We've got lots to prepare. Huh? Of course I'm excited. This is everything to me. Keeping my promises is rather important too. But science? Science is the only truth in this world. Nothing else matters. Nothing else. And with the Bulvaline and Dickite, it'll work. Ho 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 ho. Look at you. You've made quite a name for yourself in just 5 minutes. My, what do you think of this? It's my pride and joy. I'm going to make it tonight. Like I mentioned before, harnessing the lasers, we're going to do the best. Physics, my dear Watson. Oh, speaking of which, what is your name? Aha. A positively intellectual name. It's no wonder you're so smart. Not to judge a book by its cover, as my second in command is... Well, he's an idiot. But he's an idiot who's learning. You seem like a learned non-idiot. Strange. Well, I suppose that's that. Huh? You're an interesting specimen. May I do some experiments? Take your brain and... No. That'd be a waste. I can't go wasting useful pawns. No, you're more than a pawn. You're subordinate. Maybe a superior? Now I've just got to know all the information about you. What's your past, present, family, orientation? It's all so fascinating. You seem to understand science almost as well as me. Maybe even better, and that's what makes you special. Oh, it makes you interesting. Oh, I'm getting so excited. Couldn't control myself. You made me so excited, I may have gotten just a tad carried away. The imbalances in my brain when it comes to science. Oh, the dopamine. The dopamine. Gotta calm down. My name? Ishigami Senku. What? You can just call me Senku. It's easier that way. Besides, you're intelligent enough to know, well, names are just placeholders. Separating us from the animals. Even though we're all animals ourselves, what does it matter? Science is the only thing that separates any of us from it. We're just victims of our own intellect. Might as well make the most of it, right? It is our duty as scientists. You are a scientist, aren't you? A science enthusiast. Oh, how suiting of you. Maybe that's better than being an actual scientist. You get the freedom. No, I had that. You still remain somewhat unproven. But I'll give you some credit. You're smarter than all the rest that I've met. That makes you a cut above. This way. There's no sense in us staying here. It'd just waste more time. Besides, there's science to be done. Back at HQ. Aren't you curious? Why I'm doing this? It's quite simple. I've managed to get things back up to date, technology-wise. And now I need to figure out how to make it next gen. We have to invent something new from scratch. I've got so many things in this noggin of mine I'm sure you'll appreciate, especially with that above-average intellect you have. Enjoy Interesting. You've got a look on your face, that's for sure. Can't say I've seen someone who looks quite as peculiar dissecting. Why don't you donate your body to science when you die? What? You're an excellent specimen. Fit in all the right places. Biologically sound and mentally. Your physique. Interesting. Interesting. Are you sure you're just a human, not a superhuman? Ha ha! You were in a program, weren't you? You're quite nearby. I'm surprised I never noted your scientific value. Interesting. Perhaps I was too focused on my own things. That's just fine. Now, let's get to sciencing. Pass me the hydrochloric acid. And the termitile extender? Yes. This should be just fine. And from this vantage point, we can harness the sun's solar energy and we can supercharge our solar array. That's exactly what I was aiming for, being that it's not just an aluminum array. No, it's an alloy. We've made it from scratch. You can be impressed later. Let's spend some time getting back to camp. I was in a rush, but now that you've handed me a new answer that I didn't think of, go figure. Oh, so you've been counting. You're accurate to the time of today. Actually, quite precise. And again, it's just counting. Anyone could do that. An invention all yours? Why, you're talking as though you're from the future. Could it be you've got some secrets for me? A hyperspeed gene editor? That's just what we need. It could evolve us into superhumans before we know it, but... Wait a moment. That's kind of dangerous. I like it. If we don't advance properly, then... we'll just have to be careful of who uses it, and for what purposes. To think we can play God so early into our advantage into the Stone Age. Ah, I knew this day would come. I just didn't know how long it would take. Now, you're making me excited. Oh, you seem excited too. Our laughs were even in tune. Interesting. You're an interesting fellow. Ah, I never thought I'd meet someone quite so interesting, or quite so science-centric just like me. What an interesting turn of events. Now I just find myself wondering what you're going to do next. It's like watching a television show. Or so I hear, since I didn't waste my time with that. Maybe more like a good book. Anyhow, watch your step going down. It'd be a shame if you lost yourself to clumsiness. By my judgment, you're probably 30% likely to trip on something. No offense, but I can see it in your muscles. Still recovering, I see. At least your brain isn't. We've mastered up till the 21st century. Things have been going well, though it's just a question of how long it takes to refine my methods and create the 22nd or 37th century. You already knew that, though. Ah, why do I keep repeating myself? Perhaps it's because I have to deal with simpletons. No, of course not. You're nothing like them. And that's why you're so interesting. Oh. You seem curious of a different matter. Your heartbeat changed slightly, and you're... Oh. How cute. Have you fallen for me? You find me attractive. That's just fine. Just don't let it distract you from the end goal. I'm afraid, well, I may find a similar end. You are attractive. I don't want to get distracted. Yes. And what makes you think that that would change anything? Let's not get distracted, my new partner. Remember, we have much to do. Science won't wait for anyone. It's confidence, not cockiness. There's no reason for that. Everything is calculated. Everything. Everything I've done since I've woke up. No, since before then. Since I've been born. It's been calculated. Surely you understand. I knew it. You're just like me. It's perfect. You're perfect. A perfect specimen. I wonder what we can accomplish together twice as fast. If I have a competent subordinate, no, a competent partner, we can change this world twice as fast. Fascinating. Fascinating. What is it you want out of all this? You want to see science expanded, right? That's the true goal. Everything about it. We went from tools, stones, to vehicles and science. The next level. What could it be? Figuring out what did all this. Of course. Mass extinction efforts. Pathetic. Those who fear science have no right to stop it. None. None will stand in our way. Though I suppose it's an overly harsh way of viewing it. No need to get so serious. Sometimes I need to remind myself that. You'll meet my underlings, friends, soon enough. Be sure to introduce yourself slowly, as so they don't get confused. Ah, but a science enthusiast such as yourself. I'll introduce you as my partner. They've dealt with stranger things. And what would I care if they're surprised? They've been surprised the entire time. They didn't expect anything of me until I blew their mind. Though I suppose that's not all true. I did save them after all. Most of them. Except for the descendants of my friend. That's a long story. I'll tell you on the way. Looks like we're here. Everyone seems to be sleeping, but there's no time for sleep when science is involved. Speaking of which, I get my full 8 hours. I'd like to sleep less in the future, but right now it's the perfect amount for my body. Which you seem quite curious about. Why is it? I suppose I can't blame you. I am the pinnacle of humanity. Brains, brawn, I've got it all. Though I wouldn't bother with being physical if I don't have to. Idiots. They think they can do it on their own. Look at this. They nearly had an adverse reaction and would have killed everyone in an explosion. Nuclear fission is so dangerous. When you're surrounded by idiots, at least. Ah, so that's it. They tried to quench the reactor and, well, let's just be glad radiation hasn't killed us all yet. It's a good sign, don't you think? Now, be careful. What are you doing? You can't go over there or else... What? Impossible. You managed to solve it that easy. You're amazing. More amazing than I gave you credit for. Are you actually from the future? Tell me. A time traveler, perhaps? Fascinating. Fascinating. The things we'll do together. Can I even call it together? Do you even need my intellect? What a strange situation. I've never felt like this before. Why, in a way, I'm kind of jealous. So this is what jealousy feels like. It just makes me want to ask you a million questions. What is it you just did? What looked like simple ingredients and you quelled an unstable reactor. Nuclear fission made completely innate? Stable. How did you not get irradiated? You coated yourself with something. Could it be? Ah, I see. Brilliant! What a strange feeling. Feeling so excited. You'll have to pardon me. When it comes to science, someone above me. It's such a strange concept, I've never known it. You've managed to teach me something today. You'll have to tell me all about it later. Perhaps over some coffee. The drink of intellectuals. It's quite beautiful when you don't consider its scientific application. One wrong move, and everyone around us would have died. In their sleep, without knowing it. Some of them slower than others. All of humanity might have ended right then. Isn't that an interesting concept? When you really think about it, how fragile we are. Science is the ties that bond, the reason for everything. We're machines, not man. And that's where you seem to have one-upped me. Amazing. What's this feeling? I can't seem to place it. It's incredible. It's difficult. Could this be obsession? No. Perhaps something more. Something fascinating indeed. Not only were you able to solve that, but you instilled in me something truly amazing. What could it be? I've got to identify this. The symptoms. Flustered. Shakiness. Want to understand. Maybe it's just... You have a theory? A crush. Of course, I'm beyond such things. There's obviously no way I'd have that. You must be making a joke. Yes, a kiss means nothing. You think you could make me feel something. Ha! I've only felt something for science. For its breakthroughs, the many things of logic. These dealings of emotions, they're obviously beneath me. Aren't they beneath you? The fact that you're smiling like that, you've got a secret. What could it be? Synapses firing. What are you going to say? Of course I would feel nothing with a kiss. There's no way. I've resolved myself to be married to science alone. Prove it. You've got an interesting way of challenging. Don't believe me? What gave me away? Because I don't have a shred of doubt. You're obviously mistaken. Look at me. Do I look like I have time for such things? It would waste time. A relationship is... It's unnecessary. It's only for mutual gain. There isn't any purpose in it, and... Fine. I'll take your fruitless bet, just to prove a point. Don't expect much from me, though. Fine. Do your worst. Yes, get it over with. You... That was my first kiss. And it was every bit as average as normal. Obviously, there was nothing special. Did you expect me to just give in to my carnal, bestial desires? It had zero effect on me, obviously. An acute observation, but you're not paying attention to the greater details and... Why won't you listen? It's quite obvious, isn't it? You'll never get anywhere like this. You've clearly lost. Blushing? Me. To think, even I would have my carnal instincts. You've made your point. So what if I have attraction for you? That doesn't mean that these unknown feelings are... I can explain it with science. It's clearly a false positive. There's no way I could have feelings for you. I don't have time for them. Yes, you may be smarter than me, and you're biologically sound, but that doesn't make you ideal mating material. It just makes you an interloper. I thought you could be my partner. That's not because... of course, your love of science is amazing. It's something admirable. But what makes you think you could get under my skin like that? I may be a carnal beast like anyone else, but I'm disciplined enough to resist my urges. So you've clearly got me misunderstood, and the blush is a coincidence. I'm not talking logically. Oh, you've got quite the mouth on you. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Well, to disprove you, I'll just have to do something drastic. I'll show you how much I'm not affected by you. You can have a kiss whenever you want, and you can test me in any way you can come up with. I'll be your subject, your patient, or maybe your experimental rat. You couldn't make me love you. There's no way. It's all coincidence. The sample size is too small, so it's... Well, why, you interrupted me. As I was saying, the sample size and... Do you just enjoy stealing the words of someone who's a man of science? How dare you? Yet, it would be imprudent to make an enemy of you. Besides, I could never do harm to someone who's a true scion of science. Besides, your feeble attempts, no matter how you raise the sample size, it doesn't change anything. Yes, I believe my theory is sound. That's why you can do your worst. I will endure. Persistent, aren't you? Can't you see I've got the upper hand? Science doesn't favor you. Biological structure may, but I'm still a man of science. You expect me to cheat on my love with you. How dare you assume I would ever? Science is more beautiful than even you. You're trying to make me more infatuated with you than with science? Wow, you've got some guts there. Can't you see? I'm 100% obsessed with science, and obviously my feelings for you are just... admitted to it. And what if there are feelings? Feelings I don't understand. They could be anything. Infatuation. Perhaps some kind of an obsession based upon the fact that you're... No. You're nothing. Nothing to me. So why are you so good at... getting under my skin? Damn you. An anomaly. Oh, we'll settle this. We'll settle this on the grounds of science. That's for certain. You won't easily make me bow. Even if you got me to blush, what does it matter? I'm still a cut above the rest. And just because your science of attraction, your science that may supersede my own, doesn't make you my better. I'll succeed you. I'll overtake you. Just you wait.